Before we upgrade the wallet, we're going to want to make a backup of our wallet. So what you want to do to make that backup is, if the wallet is not already running, you're going to want to open it up. You should already have backups, but you're going to make another backup right now. You always want to make a backup before you do anything funky with these wallets. So this is our wallet. We want to make a backup. The easiest way to do that is go to File, Backup Wallet. And I'm going to create this backup onto the desktop, but you can put this wherever you want. And I would just give it the coin name and then a date. And then I call it wallet.dat. That way I know it's a wallet.dat file. So we'll save that onto the desktop. Now we have a backup of our wallet. So we should be good to move on to the next step of upgrading the wallet. You can exit out of here. So this upgrade technically really isn't an upgrade because the ticker symbol changed. This is basically a new install of the wallet. The coin you're using will be the same coin, but because the ticker symbol had to change, the wallet name had to change, and the executable names had to change. So really you are installing the brand new wallet, and then you're going to restore that backup wallet.dat file into that new wallet. So your coins will be in the new wallet, but you're going to have a brand new sort of executable to be initiating, and it's going to be a full install of the new wallet. You're not really upgrading the old wallet by replacing anything. You're just installing the brand new wallet, and then you're restoring your backup, your wallet.dat backup. So we are going to install the local wallet. In this case, I'm going to install a local Windows wallet. And to get to that wallet, I would just go out to the website, the Bitcoin Incognito website. And then on here, go under Wallets, and then choose your operating system. I'm running a Windows. I'm going to hit the Windows, and I am going to save this onto the desktop. It's just a zip file, so I will just save it. And now I have my zip out here. And what I can do is extract it to a permanent location, and I'm going to choose, I'm not going to extract it here on my desktop. I'm going to save this with the rest of my programs on my computer. That way I don't have all of these things out on the desktop in case I, get confused and maybe try to delete one day. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to save it into my programs file directory. If you want and you like to save stuff on your desktop, then that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to show you how to do this and save it in a different location just in case you choose to do so. So if you did extract all, and then you can choose the location by hitting browse. I'm going to put it out under my C drive program files, and then you just say select folder, and then you're going to create a new folder on the program files, and we're going to call it XBI, and then hit extract. Make sure you have this checked, that way it opens this folder after it extracts it. And the reason we wanted it to open this folder is so I can send a shortcut to this onto the desktop. So I right click it, say send to desktop, and that way I have the actual executable in my program files with the rest of my programs on my computer, but I also have this shortcut, so I can run this shortcut from wherever I want. I can move that shortcut into my sort of Windows area, or I can leave this on the desktop. But if I ever delete this, I'm okay. It's not going to hurt me because it's not the actual program, it's just a shortcut. So now that we have the wallet there, we just need to boot that up. And the first time you open it, it's going to ask you where to store the default data directory. I suggest you leave this in the default location. If someone ever needs to help you in the future, then it's much easier for them if they know where that, or if they know that that's installed in the default location. If you know what you're doing, you can store it in a different location. But if I say it's much easier in the future if it's always in the default, you know where it's at, everyone else knows where it's at. It just makes things easier. Hit OK. And now the wallet's loading up. Before it finishes synchronizing, what I like to do is go and restore that wallet.dat real quick. So what you can do is go to Tools, Open Wallet Configuration File, do a Save As here, and then right-click one of these folders in here, so say the backups, and say Open in New Window. And what that did is it opened up your app data folder. And what you want to do is close out these other windows before this finishes synchronizing. You want to close that out. Now we have our app data folder opened up. So what you want is you want to go back up into this XBI location, and then this is your XBI app data folder. And this is where you want to put your backed up wallet.dat that you created of the BTCI. So one thing I like to do with these wallet.dat, so this is the one we just created, and I don't like to suggest people delete this. We don't need this because I know I just installed this wallet and I know this wallet has nothing on it, but I don't like to tell people to delete these because they might accidentally delete the wrong one. So what I like to tell them to do is you right click it, you say rename, say new empty junk wallet or something, whatever you want to. I just rename it so then I don't actually delete it. And it's still there in case I screwed something up. I can always get back to this. So that's why I call it that. That way I know it's junk, but in case I accidentally did the wrong thing, I don't like deleting wallet.dat files. It's just too scary. So anyway, let's pretend we either deleted this or we renamed it to something. If you know what you're doing and you're safe and you feel comfortable deleting it, go for it. But I always suggest people just rename it to something that is garbage. So we need to restore that backup. So we find that backup.dat file we created, copy it, because in case you screw it up, you just lost your backup. Unless you have this backup on a thumb drive or something, just don't delete it from the thumb drive. So copy it into here, and now you want to rename it back to the original, which was just wallet.dat. And now when we boot up this wallet, it's going to read our backup wallet.dat file. And we can close this out. We're done there. So just open that wallet back up. And this time, when it starts loading, what you can do is go under File, Receiving Addresses. And if these addresses look familiar to you, that means you successfully restored your backup. If they just had one single address with no label, then likely you didn't restore the backup and you restored the wrong wallet.dat file. But if everything in here looks good, the actual address names look good, you can close that out. You don't know the amount of coins on those addresses yet, not until this has finished synchronizing. I'm going to sit back and fast forward the video while this synchronizes, and once it's done, then we can confirm that we actually restored that wallet successfully. Alright, so this wallet has finished synchronizing with the blockchain. Now it's doing the masternode synchronization. And I can tell that because if I hover over here, it's saying that it is up to date, but it's just synchronized masternode information. And I can move on to the next step, which is setting up the VPS. So I'm going to assume here that you used the BitYoda script to install your original masternode. And that script required you to install it on a Ubuntu version 14 machine. The new script requires a version 16 machine, so it's basically time to upgrade your VPS to a 16. And by upgrade, I really mean destroy the 14 and create a new instance, which is an Ubuntu 16. So what you want to do is you want to destroy that prior VPS and then create a new instance, which is a 16. And then follow the steps to run the setup script on that Ubuntu 16. Now that we're connected, we can run the commands to set up the VPS. So also down in the comments, you're going to find these commands under the Linux commands. And the way you want to do this, you want to highlight it from the comments, copy it, And to paste into PuTTY, you just right click one time and it pastes it, and then you hit enter, and then it comes back to that command prompt. That means it's ready for the next command. Right click, copy, right click, and then enter. And now we just need to sit and wait for this to run through the script. This may take a little while, it just depends on how fast your VPS is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this sit back and run while I speed up the video. So if you want to tell how long this, you want to get a rough idea of how long this takes, you can look at the clock down here and see where this is at when we get to the end. In here, it's asking for your masternode genkey. We are going to let the VPS server create the key for us. So here you just want to hit enter. Don't put anything in the screen, just hit the enter key on your keyboard. Okay, so it has started up the daemon, the masternode daemon on the VPS server, and this is where it gives you all the information we're going to need in a step in a minute. Now we can connect our local wallet to our VPS wallet, and to do that you need to set a little bit of configuration in your local wallet. So go back into your local wallet and then go to Tools, open masternode configuration file. And in here, you're going to enter some information, and I have down in the comments, I have sort of a example, which is basically the same of the example that's already in there, but it has these square brackets around things to let you know what types of information to put where. And so what I'd like to do here, the first piece of information you put in this config file is the alias. The alias is just a friendly name you give for your VPS. It has to be unique per your wallet, but no one sees this alias, it's just for you. The second piece is your VPS IP address, and you can get that back from the PuTTY window or whatever you're using. And what I do is I highlight it, use my left mouse to highlight it, and then let go. Don't try to control click or hit any control keys or right click and hit copy or anything like that. Just highlight it and let go of your mouse, and it automatically copies it in your clipboard. And then you can paste it down here, and it looks like I highlighted the IP address and the port number. So IP address : port number. And so I can paste that in there. Make sure there's no space here, and make sure there's no hard return there. That looks good. And I like to make sure I don't copy anything weird, as I always like to delete any white space there and then re-add the space. And then masternode genkey, that is the value here. So I use my left mouse button to drag and highlight it, let go of the mouse button, and it's copied it into the clipboard. And it looks like I accidentally copied that colon. That's okay. I will paste it here and then remove that colon. And next we need the masternode outputs transaction ID value and masternode outputs 10 transaction index. So we can minimize this PuTTY window, come back into your wallet and go to Tools, Debug Console, go to the Console tab and type masternode outputs. And it gives you the two values you needed. The first here is the transaction hash. If you highlight that and copy, don't highlight the double quotes around it. You can paste that here. So the masternode's outputs transaction ID, which is the same as the transaction hash. They're just different terms for the same thing. Paste that there. And then this very last piece out here is the masternode outputs 10 value. It's that second value that's entered here. It's going to be a 0 or a 1. In this case, it's a 1. So I'm just going to type a 1. And now we got our alias, IP address, port number, masternode genkey value, masternode outputs transaction hash, and masternode's masternode outputs output index. And that looks good. You hit a file save, file exit. You can close this window. And then now we just need to restart the wallet. And now if you go to the masternodes tab, you'll see that your masternode display is here. It says missing, that's perfectly fine. Wait till this has synchronized all the masternode information, and then we can start this masternode. Okay, that's synchronized. Now to start this masternode, we're going to use these buttons down here. You highlight the row. If you have a bunch of these, you highlight the one you want. You hit start alias. If you have all of them are down, you can hit start all. If you only want to start the missing ones, you hit start missing. I like to just do the start missing. That way, anything that's missing, you just hit start missing. Are you sure? Hit yes. Successfully started one. Hit OK. It says move to enabled. Hit update status a few times to make sure this sticks. Now what you want to do is just kind of wait around for this to get synchronized out on the network, and you need to wait usually quite a while before you start receiving your first rewards. Sometimes when you run this or you click the start missing or you start these masternodes, occasionally you'll get an error about invalid IP address. If you do get that error and it says invalid IP address, what I would do is come and try to start the masternode from the debug console. So go to Tools, Debug Console, and then down here you want to go to the Console tab, and you want to type start masternode alias 0, and then in quotes type your alias name. So whatever you called your masternode in that config file, and you probably just did an MN1, and then you'll hit enter and it will tell you successfully started one. So if you get that problem, just come over here and start it this way. It happens occasionally and I'm not sure what it is, but this is a command you can run from this side in the debug menu, and this usually works to do that.